Cold, damp air filled the cave, clinging to their skin like an unwelcome shroud. The walls, slick with moisture, seemed to close in on them. The smell of moss and fear permeated the air, a pungent reminder of their predicament. 5 girls huddled in the echoing darkness, their breaths shallow and quick, hearts pounding in unison. Their flashlight beams, like tiny knives, cut through the suffocating black, but offered little comfort. They had come for fun, for adventure. Now they were trapped. The thrill of exploration replaced by a gnawing fear. The cave, once exciting, had transformed into a monster, its dark maw ready to consume them. Its jagged teeth were stalactites poised to strike, hanging ominously above their heads. Its breath, the humid air, was thick with unseen danger, making every inhalation a struggle. They were lost, their initial confidence replaced by a chilling dread that gnawed at their resolve. Chloe, the leader, tried to stay strong, but her voice trembled, betraying her own fear. "We have to stick together," she whispered, her words barely audible over the oppressive silence. Her words were swallowed by the oppressive silence, leaving an eerie void. But unity was a fragile thing when fear gnawed at their edges, threatening to tear them apart. The darkness pressed in, a living entity that seemed to breathe and pulse with malevolent intent. It whispered their names, played tricks on their eyes, and filled their minds with dread. Something was wrong, deeply wrong. The cave was no longer just a cave, it was a predator. And they were all about to find out just how wrong it could get, as the true horror of their situation began to unfold.
The shadows danced in the flickering beam of Maya's flashlight, creating an eerie atmosphere that made her heart race. They seemed to writhe, taking on grotesque shapes that twisted and turned, almost as if they were alive. The sight of these shapes sent shivers down her spine, making her feel as though she was not alone in the darkness. It started subtly, a whisper of her name, faint and far away, barely audible over the sound of her own breathing. Flashback to a time when the cave was still a thrill, a place of adventure and excitement for Maya and her friends. Laughter echoed off the damp walls, filling the cave with a sense of joy and camaraderie. They had found a passage, hidden behind a curtain of moss, a secret waiting to be discovered. Excitement bubbled over as they crawled through, unaware of the darkness that awaited them on the other side. But the whispers grew louder, more insistent, filling the air with a sense of dread. They taunted her with forgotten fears, with secrets she had buried deep inside, resurfacing in the oppressive darkness. Maya felt a cold sweat prickle her skin. The darkness was listening, and it seemed to know her deepest fears.
Each girl faced her own demon in the dark. Erin saw visions of her greatest failure, replayed in her mind like a cruel film. The images were so vivid, it was as if the cave itself was projecting her deepest fears onto its cold, damp walls. The cave knew their secrets, exposed their vulnerabilities with chilling accuracy. It was as if the very stones had eyes, watching and waiting to exploit their every weakness. For Chloe, it was the memory of a broken promise, the guilt a lead weight in her stomach. She could almost hear the disappointed voices of those she had let down, echoing through the cavern. The darkness magnified their fear, turned it into a weapon. Every shadow seemed to move with malicious intent, every sound amplified to a deafening roar. They were no longer friends lost in a cave, they were prey. The realization hit them like a tidal wave, leaving them paralyzed with terror. The air grew colder, heavy with an unseen presence. It was as if the cave itself was breathing, its icy breath chilling them to the bone.
A low growl echoed through the cavern, sending a fresh wave of terror through the group. The sound was primal, a reminder that they were not alone in the darkness.
They huddled closer, their eyes wide with panic. Each breath was a struggle, each heartbeat a thunderous drum in their ears. The darkness was closing in, it felt alive, a malevolent force that sought to consume them whole.
Taylor, always the bravest, took charge. She rallied the girls, her voice a beacon in the darkness. Her words sparked a flicker of hope in their eyes. Maybe, just maybe, they could survive this. They stumbled through the echoing darkness, their flashlights cutting through the oppressive black. The air was thick with fear, the silence broken only by their ragged breaths. Every shadow seemed to hold a threat. Panic threatened to consume them. They had to escape, had to find a way out of the nightmare. We can do this. We have to help each other. Finally, they saw it. A glimmer of light, a beacon of hope in the suffocating darkness. The cave entrance. With renewed determination, they surged forward, their hearts pounding with anticipation. One by one, they scrambled out, gasping for breath, blinking in the sudden sunlight. Relief washed over them, sweet and intoxicating. They were safe, or so they thought. As the last of the girls emerged, a blood-curdling scream pierced the air. Taylor was gone. The darkness had claimed her, dragging her back into the depths of the cave, and somewhere in the echoing silence, a secret remained buried.